Hello, I'm ABC 10 meteorologist Rob Carlmark with an important update on our forecast. Now, I'm going to go backwards in the beginning just so we can kind of see where we are so far water-wise. I always think that that's important so we can understand the relative importance of the storms, multiple, that will be lining up after we get through the first one, which is this weekend. And then we will end this with the Sierra snow forecast. I think what you're going to like on Sunday. And if you're just waiting for repeat refreshes of snow in the Sierra, we're going to get a lot of that during the course of next week. Not big storms, but certainly very consistent. So we will go ahead and get into our good old buddy La Nina. La Nina really has told a story ahead of time of where we might be and where we actually are right now. Drier than normal conditions in Southern California and the Southwest. That has absolutely happened. And then wetter than normal conditions for the Pacific Northwest and far northern California. This is a little bit more mixed. The far north Pacific Northwest has seen a little bit of dry weather somewhat recently. But overall, when you look at the numbers here locally, just taking it back to California, blue and green is above average precip. Yellow is about average. Red is below average. So we're seeing, again, that La Nina pattern that very often statistically shows up like this at the end of a season. We're right in the middle, about 2/3 of the way through the prime months of our rainy season, and it really does reflect some of those long-range statistical forecasts with things like El Nino or La Nina, and we are currently in a La Nina stage. Okay, as far as rain in the bucket, look at Eureka and Redding. I mean, they really have had the bulk of the major storms, the wet storms, some of that in the Sierra, Northern Sierra and Southern Cascades, certainly performing well above average. Everybody else, again, in our local area, Northern California, about average to a little bit below average. That's not bad. That would be made up in one decent storm. And remember, we're going to get some rain on Sunday and on and off all of next week. Southern California, though, that's going to be a really tough hill to climb with about a month and a half left or so of the prime rainy season that we see. But rest assured, our reservoirs are above average. In fact, they're in a weird situation right now where they can't really absorb much more runoff into the reservoirs. Remember, this time of the year, they need to have a buffer here. This is what the capacity of what's left of the capacity in order to provide adequate flood protection. You got to leave a little bit of room in there in case you get a monster storm cycle, which you always can get in the month of March. So as we end February here, this is what we're looking at going into this upcoming weekend. We've got a pattern change. It's not going to be on our Friday. And it's not going to be on our Saturday. It is going to be entirely on Sunday when we see the temperatures tank, the rain and the snow move in. It's also going to be a little bit windy. And then we're going to see many more episodes like that throughout next week. So it's not just a one and done storm. It is a pattern change back to winter weather. So the headlines all relate to what you get with these winter storms. Snow, chain controls. It is going to be colder. Most of your day in the valley spots are going to be in the 50s. We're going to be looking at all-day rain chances, and it could be light to moderate. There is a little bit of discrepancy about how much valley rain that we could get just depending on the timing and intensity of the storm. For your Friday forecast, last day in the 70s for a while, folks. This is going to be something that we've enjoyed. In fact, on Thursday, it was the warmest day of the year so far, 75 degrees for downtown Sacramento. The last time we saw a number like that was October 27th of last year, so it's been a while. One of the things that I've been highlighting, and just since this is a near-term forecast, if you're watching this on Friday, we've got recent rain. It wasn't too long ago that there's still a potential for standing water. Mild temperatures, calm winds, sunrise and sunset times are in that zone where people can be very active, certainly for sunset times, because we have about an hour and a half or so after traditional work and school end times. And then close, I think, that's my biggest tip. You could use bug spray, but the results are varied, and it's also a cost to you because you got to pay for that stuff. It's not cheap. You probably already have socks. You probably already have longer pants and long sleeves. That stuff is very effective. Sometimes, though, on the neck and hands, that's probably where you do want to use some bug spray. We're watching these atmospheric river plumes just to see if there's anything big coming. And while some moisture does get pulled closer to our area, we're not really seeing that traditional link up with a big storm in the Pacific. Lots of moisture aimed right at us. That's when you get 2-3 inches of rain in a day, sometimes multiple cycles, and that's really important for water in California. We've had them, most of them far northern California, but I don't see any big potential for rain and snow as far as the totals, even with the new cycle showing up. So we've got a few areas of clouds. Cutoff low right there is trying to do something. There's just no moisture. That's the issue. The next system really does have a lot to it. It's big, it's beefy, there's moisture. And what it's going to do more or less, the major thing is that it's going to have an impact on changing the pattern. It's not going to provide enormous amounts of rain or snow, but it's going to move things along and get us back to a more traditional winter weather pattern, because we are, yes, still in the middle of winter. Okay, what about the wind situation? One of the reasons why I highlighted wind and potential mosquito issues is because we do have light winds today and tomorrow. So heads up, the lighter the winds are, the more mosquito activity, because if it's really windy, they can't fight the wind. If it's not windy, they're going to do what they want to do. Ahead of this storm coming in on Saturday late in the day, we're going to have some winds that'll move in, but then it's going to ease up as the storm starts to affect us. So let's go ahead and take a look at the timing of everything. Today is dry. Saturday morning we have some fog. Saturday evening to very early Sunday. So this is middle of the night stuff. Light valley rain, some Sierra snow. And then we're going to be looking at totals that have a little bit of variation. I would say on the low side, about 1/10 to maybe 2/10 of an inch of rain. There is some potential that if it lingers a little bit longer, we'll be pushing 1/4 inch plus. Obviously, when you get to the higher elevations from the valley floor to about 5,000 feet, you're going to be getting closer to 1 inch of rain. Above 5,000 feet, it turns into snow. If you take a look at the other model that's very good often, it likes even the higher totals, more than, I would say, 1/2 inch to up to 1 inch of rain. And if that's within one day, that's a decent amount of rain. But the trend is this. This is a pattern change. Remember that. After that, even going past the 10-day forecast, it is likely we remain in this cooler than normal pattern and wetter than normal pattern. In other words, the storm door is open, and then whatever's out there is going to come in. The problem is there just isn't that much out there. There's many periods of rain and snow potential. Our biggest impact to you is going to be on Sunday. It's a weekend day. That's important. Also, it's a pretty dramatic change from the day before. This is rain and snow and winter conditions in the Sierra. But then you could see we've got more chances middle of the week, and then next weekend is looking like another storm will move in. Now we're going to transition over to the Sierra part of the forecast. You could still see some snow on the side of the road, but folks, when you've got days and days in a row in the 50s up high, you're going to melt some snow, and you're going to do it quickly. So even though for the highest peaks, yeah, there's plenty of coverage, it's been taking a beating with the warm weather. Even with that said, don't necessarily look here about average to date. That can change within one storm really quickly. You have to look at the totals here, and we're actually doing okay. We are now, if you average everything out, about 3/4 of the way where we should be for a full snowpack by April 1st. That's usually when things start to shut off. Not necessarily on that day, but you get the idea. Right around the beginning of April is when the storms still come in, but they're just not very effective in producing meaningful changes in the snowpack. So we're okay. I've certainly seen worse years, and I've seen better years, so that's just how it's going to be. But remember, the reservoirs can't even absorb any more runoff at the moment. They're going to have to wait for that snowpack, and I think they're going to be in even better shape as we move along. As far as the lifts being open, going back a while, this has sort of been the tale for a while. They've been able to get almost all their terrain open, and it'll just change on wind conditions, snow conditions at times. But I think most of these mountains are essentially as open as they can be for the moment. And then watch out for chain control possible on Sunday. If you want travel times, Friday you're good to go. Saturday, most of the day you're good to go unless it's super late on Saturday night. And then on Sunday, both in the morning, afternoon, and evening, likely enough snow for at least winter driving conditions and maybe even some chain controls. So through the day from Sunday as we go into early Monday morning, we're looking at 2 to about 6 inches of snow, which is not monster, but it is enough to bring the crowds out, number one. It's going to make everything ski and snowboard really nice. If you don't care about any of that, you want to go play in the snow, it'll be nice fresh snow to make snowmen, and go sledding. It's going to be really good on that Sunday. But again, it's getting there and getting back a little bit problematic because of the winter weather. Past that, we see a couple more chances for some more additional snow, but all of those are on the light side. That pretty much covers it all from where we are water-wise to the local near-term forecast to the Sierra forecast. I'm Rob Carlmark.